Dr. Thomas Edison said that the doctor of the future will give no medicine, but will interest his patients in the care of the human frame through diet and in the cause and prevention of disease. Well, the future is now, because there is a new wave of plant-based doctors that are filling up this planet. And they believe that it's plants, not pills, that are the answer to all of our health problems. There is no debate. The science is clear. Plant-only nutrition is the future.
And when you try to get a fair overview of the world's nutritional literature, it's not contradictory as people think. It's not that one study says one thing and the different study says something completely different. It really is the preponderance of evidence that is overwhelming to realize that we don't have to have a population where 50% of us die of heart attacks and strokes. We don't have to have a population where 35% of the population dies of cancer. We don't have to have our elderly people having hip fractures and get demented and being in nursing homes, unable to function. We really have a unique and unprecedented opportunity in human history. What I'm saying is nutritional excellence enables people to achieve a much better health in their later years and to really free themselves from the medical tragedies that befall Americans.
The most knowledgeable of all the new wave of doctors is Dr. John McDougall.
If you look back through recorded history, or you look even today, you got to look quick because it's disappearing. What you will find is all successful, large populations of people in all of recorded history have lived on starch-based diets. That wasn't a mistake. That's because that's the diet of the human being.
First of all, I'm one of the few doctors in the world that thinks diet has anything to do with health, period. Health, period, even constipation. To go so bold as to say diet has something to do with the cause of cancer really gets ears perked. And then if I went so bold and said the body never stops trying to heal itself, and if I told you that a diet can promote healing of cancer, like breast, colon, and prostate cancer, I mean, some of you out there would say, that's so novel. My doctor says diet has nothing to do with cancer. Well, I can tell you for sure, the body never stops trying to heal. And I've seen people heal completely when they've had a whole body full of cancer. Breast, colon, prostate cancer. So it does happen, and it's reported in the scientific literature, and you should never give up.
Animal foods are the cause of our disease. Eliminate the cause and the body will heal.
The human body, John, is perfect. We don't have to worry about regulating our electrolytes. That's what our kidneys do. We don't have to worry about making bone because that's what our marrow does. We don't have to worry about any of those things. All we need to do is give it what it needs, and it'll do that. If we eat stuff that is creating some sort of toxic interference with all of our cells are constantly remaking themselves. We get new blood cells every so often. We get new skin cells. We get new cells that line our colon and our stomach because that's the way it's set up. But when we eat things that interfere with that normal process, then we have problems that we call cancers. Because what are cancers? They're just uncontrolled growth.
Natural quests for animal protein is the cause of all disease. We need to stop the cause. Doctors like Garth Davis of Houston have seen the light.
I have a new book out. It's called Proteinaholic, Our Obsession with Meat and Why It's Killing Us. And I wrote this book because probably the biggest problem I got getting people to change their diet was this obsession with protein. The more I educated myself, the more shocked I was. That people don't know about this, that other doctors don't know about this, that medical schools aren't teaching this. And the simple fact that a plant-based diet could just change your life and every disease that I treat.
Basing your diet around beans and potatoes and whole grains is not extreme, but having your chest sliced open to remove a clogged artery, that's extreme.
And what the surgeon started pulling out of Mr. Phillips' arteries were great, long, yellow, greasy, sausage-like formations of fat that looked like this. This is the #1 cause of death of people in North America. Every 30 seconds on this continent, Canada included, somebody grabs their chest and falls over with a heart attack. This is animal fat clogging up the arteries. When you send this material down to the pathologist and you ask him to analyze it, the report always comes back the same: saturated fat and cholesterol. It's animal fat. The pathology report never, ever, ever contains the words remnants of broccoli, rice, and tofu. It's animal fat. The good news is when you stop running animal fat through your bloodstream, this stuff melts away. This stuff will come off the artery walls and arteries can open up.
Dr. Neil Bernard is another plant-based doctor leading the charge for better health.
In diabetes, there's too much sugar in the blood. And up until now, people with diabetes have said, well, too much sugar in my blood, don't eat sugar. Well, we reasoned that in countries like China, Japan, Thailand, Cambodia, where it's a very high carbohydrate diet but a very low fat diet, given that they have the lowest diabetes rates in the world, we thought it's not carbohydrate. The problem has to do with fat. Those fats get into the cells, that causes that insulin resistance, so the diet should be getting the fat out of the cells so insulin can work again.
Dr. Bernard is the president of the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine.
Type 1 diabetes used to be called childhood onset. The cells that make insulin are dead. And so if a person already has type 1 diabetes, if you put them on a healthy vegan diet, that will reduce the likelihood of complications. There are researchers who now believe that one of the big triggers for type 1 diabetes is dairy products. It turns out that proteins in cow's milk, the body recognizes them as foreign proteins. The body makes antibodies to destroy them. Those same antibodies then destroy the insulin-producing cells in the pancreas.
Dr. Colin Campbell is the author of the China study.
And animal protein, as we started doing the research, we could experimentally, we could turn on the growth of those cells. They go much more rapidly when they were fed animal protein.
Dr. McDougall has been at this for over 40 years teaching plant-based nutrition.
All right, so now you got cancer. What do? You stop throwing gasoline on the fire. Yes, you do. And one of the things he discovered was that women who get breast cancer in Japan live much longer than women who get breast cancer in the United States. And that's because in Japan, they were eating a rice-based diet with very little meat and oil. The other thing he discovered is that people who got lung cancer in Japan, 60% of the Japanese males smoked back then. People who got lung cancer in Japan lived much longer than people who got cigarette smoking related lung cancer in the US. And the reason is, so you take this noxious substance, this poison, you suck it in your lungs, it damages your lungs, your body tries to defend and repair the best it can. If you're eating the American diet, it doesn't have the strength. It's sick, it can't defend and repair as well, so you get more lung cancer, you die faster. If you smoke cigarettes in Japan back in the 1950s and 60s, you were on a rice, vegetable-based diet, very little fat, pretty much close to the diet I recommend. And you smoke cigarettes, you damage your lungs, your body has the ability to defend and repair because it's healthy. So your diet affects skin cancer, lung cancer, cigarette smoking, lung cancer, brain cancer, everything in terms of getting the cancer and how it progresses.
The reason I went into medicine was to try to make people feel better and do better. And my experience was very much like Dr. McDougall's. I started to worry I was a bad doctor because my patients never got better. And now that I'm following these principles, I get the results that I wanted in the first place.
Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn shows that it's plants, not pills.
What that drug does is it blocks an enzyme in the liver, so you cannot produce as much cholesterol. That's the bottom line. But you just don't really interfere with the metabolic epicenter of your body, your liver.
Dr. Michael Greger has a website called nutritionfacts.org and a new book called How Not to Die. He is one person that everyone should listen to.
No longer do patients have to be so patient. Doctors no longer hold a professional monopoly on health information. It's been a democratization of knowledge, right? And so until the system changes, we have to take responsibility for our own health and for our family's health, right? We can't wait for society to catch up to the science because it's a matter of life and death. In 2015, Dr. Kim Williams became president of the American College of Cardiology. He was asked why he follows his own advice to eat a plant-based diet. He said, "I don't mind dying," Dr. Williams replied. "I just don't want it to be my fault." Thank you.
Find a doctor who prescribes plants before pills, and you will find your health. And to get you started, go to my website, onesingleact.org.